So in today's video, we're going to take a look at what's going to happen if China tries to form an empire in 2024. And they're going to be invading some of their neighboring countries in order to form the empire. Yeah, let's get right into the video. But before starting the video, let me tell you that the major alliances like NATO, CSTO, the UN or EU, they don't exist, because if they would exist, they would not let these countries to expand. And we don't want that to happen in the empire videos. Well, anyways, if we talk about China over here, they have a lot of opportunities. They can invade a lot of countries. They border a lot of countries. But the first country which they're going to be invading is Mongolia. Basically, what's happening here is that China is invading the weakest countries first. And Mongolia is a very weak country. Their entire population is less than that of some of the Chinese cities. And with the fall of their capital city, which is known as Ulaanbaatar, the country finally goes ahead and surrenders. And let's take a look at this peace negotiation. And in this peace negotiation, we can see that all of Mongolia got completely annexed by China. And right now, this is giving the more Qing dynasty vibes. But yeah, anyways, moving on. China is now going to be focusing on Southeast Asian countries. And the first country which they're declaring war on is Burma. We can see that the Chinese troops are now pushing into Burma from the eastern fronts. And we can see another invasion up in the north. But right now, another country is going to get involved in this war. And that country is India. Now, they don't like China and they want to get some land from this invasion. And now we can see that the Indians are also pushing into Burma. We can see that the Chinese troops have successfully taken the southern coast. And they're getting nearer and nearer to Rangoon, which is the capital city. And we can also see a push made by the Indians. And eventually the capital city is taken and the rest of Myanmar just surrenders. And let's take a look at a peace negotiation. And in this peace negotiation, we can see that the western part of Myanmar is annexed by India and the eastern parts are all annexed by China. But moving on, the next country which China wants to invade is Bhutan. And Bhutan gets absolutely devastated by China. And in a peace negotiation, we can see that all of Bhutan got completely annexed by China. Now, seeing this invasion of Bhutan, Nepal got a little bit worried and they decided to join India. Yeah, that's what India looks like right now. Anyways, China has more and more things to do in Southeast Asia. And we can see that China has declared war on Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. But at first, we can see that the Vietnamese troops are pushing back the Chinese and they're doing pretty well over here. We can also see a small push made by Laos, which goes surprisingly well. We can see a naval landing by the Vietnamese Navy and this island of China falls. But this was unfortunately the maximum progress made by the Southeast Asian countries. And now a fully mobilized Chinese army has arrived and all these countries are pushed back. This island is retaken and the Vietnamese capital city Hanoi has been taken, and this was a major blow to all these different countries. Laos gets absolutely bombarded by China. Cambodia gets scared and they go ahead and surrender. And ultimately the remaining parts of Vietnam also fall into the Chinese hands. And this was a major success for China. And now let's go ahead and take a look at this peace negotiation. And not surprising at all, we can see that all these different countries got completely annexed by China. And by now everyone is fearing China because of their expansions. But on the other hand, we can see that countries like Pakistan and North Korea are very happy about it because China is their major ally. So yeah, it kind of makes them happy. Anyways, we can see China declaring war on another country in Southeast Asia, and that country is Thailand. Now, I think that Thailand is probably the strongest country which China has encountered. But the thing is that China was investing in their military for the past 10 years. We can see that the Chinese have cut off the southern part of Thailand. And after a decisive military campaign, China has now successfully taken Bangkok, which was their capital city. The southern part is taken and the remaining part of Thailand just goes ahead and surrenders. Now, this was probably the most high casualty war which China has ever fought so far. And in this peace treaty, we can see that all of Thailand got completely annexed by China. And yeah, that's what China is doing. They're completely annexing all of the countries they invade, except for Myanmar because India just stepped in. But anyways, for now, they're done in Southeast Asia and they're sending all of these troops up here. And if you don't know why, you guys are gonna find out in a few seconds. And if you already haven't guessed, they have declared war on Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. And do these guys stand a chance against the mighty Chinese army? No, they don't. We can see that all of Kyrgyzstan gets absolutely devastated by China. And if CSTO would exist, they would not let China to invade these former Soviet states. But in this scenario, they do not exist. And we can see that the capital city of Tajikistan, which is Dushanbe, is successfully taken. And the rest of the country just falls. But in this peace treaty, we can see that China did not annex these countries, but rather they vassalized these countries. And now there is a more pro-Chinese government installed in both of these countries. You know what else is going to be good with these countries? Yeah, merging besieging them. I mean, their border was awful, so yeah, we have a union between Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan. But they're also done fighting in Central Asia, and now it's time for a major invasion. And that major invasion is gonna be against Taiwan. Now, I know that there are a lot of US military bases in Taiwan, and the US would never allow China to invade Taiwan, but just for the sake of this scenario, we're gonna say that the US is not helping out Taiwan, neither is any European country. So yeah, let's just assume that Taiwan is on their own. We can see a naval landing on the northern coast of Taiwan, and the rest of the country just falls into the Chinese hands. And yeah, so far this is what China looks. And I guess they do look good, but they are controlling a lot of different ethnicities, and that's kind of like weakening China out, and it's also preventing them to declare war on other countries. But one country that they're gonna invade is Malaysia, because they want a hold over the Malacca Strait. So yeah, we can see that the Chinese troops have successfully taken the capital city of Malaysia, which was Kuala Lumpur, and this side of Malaysia is under the Chinese control. We can see a naval landing on the island of Borneo, and ultimately this part is also taken by the Chinese army. And in this peace treaty, we can see that this part of Malaysia was completely annexed by China. This other half is now a vassal state to the Chinese government. And so far, these are all the countries which China would invade if they wanted to form an empire. But if you're thinking that China would go to war with India, you're completely wrong. Because if they did go to war with India, it's gonna hurt their military, it's gonna hurt their economy. So yeah, they wanna have good relations with India. Now they could go to war with the Philippines, but this is too much for them to handle. They invaded all of these Southeast Asian countries. But yeah, one country which they want to invade is Sri Lanka. Now this was just because of the strategic location of Sri Lanka and nothing else. But we can see that Sri Lanka is completely taken by the Chinese army. So this is a final look of the Chinese Empire. They're not going to be expanding more for now. And at this point, they're the most populated country in the world. So yeah, this is going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and tell me what you guys want to see in the future. And thank you for watching.